We had a beautiful night in Switzerland, in this small village close to the border, close to Liechtenstein border, called Ibach. And right now we're taking like a scenic route, heading down the mountains to Liechtenstein. The views are incredible. Like, I always knew that Switzerland was amazing and beautiful country, but just like seeing it live, is quite spectacular. The drive from Switzerland to Liechtenstein was definitely a scenic journey, with picturesque landscapes, charming villages, and the alpine beauty at the background. Of course, Switzerland wouldn't be Switzerland if it wasn't for these beautiful creatures. The drive took just about 2 hours, with short stops, and it was a great way to start our day before reaching the next country on the bucket list. Without a doubt, a true star of Liechtenstein is its remarkable nature. One could argue this country has the most impressive landscapes in Europe. This is due to country's favorable geographic location. To the west, you see the legendary Alps, and to the east, it is an impressive scenery of the rugged mountains of Austria. Covering just 160 square kilometers, Liechtenstein is the fourth smallest country in Europe and one of the smallest in the world. It rarely tops anybody's bucket list of continental must-sees, but it definitely made mine, and possibly after seeing these landscapes, it will make yours. Principality of Liechtenstein is a landlocked country in the upper river Rhine, between Switzerland and Austria. It is only 24 kilometers long and 6 kilometers wide. In fact, it is so small that one could walk around it in one day. The total length of its roads is only 250 kilometers, and about 40,000 people live here. In fact, driving along Rhine River in Switzerland, we almost missed it, as a small settlement we saw out of our windows did not resemble anything like we could imagine to be a country's capital. But indeed, there it was. All we had to do is to cross a small bridge, and we found ourselves in Liechtenstein's capital, Vaduz. Despite its very modest size, Vaduz offers a unique blend of history, culture, and natural beauty. Many of Liechtenstein's historical highlights are located here. While this tiny town may only have 5,000 inhabitants, it offers an array of fascinating museums, restaurants, and boutique shops, which are scattered along the main street ending with Peter Kaiser Square and St. Florence Cathedral. Also known as Vaduz Cathedral, it was built in 1874 by Frederick von Schmidt on the site of earlier medieval foundations. A quick look inside here and we headed towards the other side of the town. Nearby the capital's main square, we saw a tourist office and traditionally decided to go in and get our passport stamp. There's a souvenir shop very close by to the tourist office, and it offers stamping your passport for 3 francs. Don't do it. Just go to the tourist office and get your passport stamp for free. Continuing down the touristy alley, we saw many souvenir shops, restaurants, and cafes. The street ends with a unique site, the wine cellars of the Prince of Liechtenstein. It is home to the Hera vineyards. They produce Pinot Noir and Chardonnay here, and in case you were wondering about the name of this winery, yes, it actually belongs to the royal family. The royals live in the iconic 12th century Vaduz castle. It is located on a hill overlooking the city. The castle serves as a symbol of Liechtenstein's history and can be explored for panoramic views of the capital and the Alps. The castle is not open to the public. However, I heard that once a year the prince actually throws a party here and anyone can attend. Sounds too good to be true, but if you ever been or know anything about it, please let me know in the comments. Okay, so what is Liechtenstein and what do you eat it with? Well, first of all, it's the fourth smallest country in Europe. It's a constitutional monarchy, and the name of the country actually comes from the ruling dynasty's last name. Back in the beginning of 20th century, this was actually a fairly poor country. There were only agricultural activities happening here, and the country was also affected by numerous wars. But after establishing a fairly good relationship with bordering Swiss, which is right across the river, and becoming a tax haven, just like in case with Luxembourg, Liechtenstein started gaining its wealth. As of right now, there are over 70,000 corporations that registered here, and it's kind of main source of revenue. Liechtenstein doesn't have its own currency, nor own language, nor the airport. It abolished its army back in 1868, and it is one of the few countries in the world with no active army. At the beginning of 20th century, it was so poor that the ruling family had to sell its own possessions, such as an expensive art, in order to stay afloat and pay country's debts. Now, Liechtenstein is one of the richest countries in the world when measured by GDP per capita. So, what is the recipe for its success? Well, as I've mentioned before, similar to Luxembourg, Liechtenstein is a low-tax country attracting many businesses and private investments. It has a strong economy driven by private banking and asset management. It has a strong political system, which is constitutional monarchy, characterized by a strong rule of law and a tradition of political stability. Strong emphasis on education and social welfare, along with very favorable geographic location, also added to the prosperity of this country. Living in Liechtenstein offers a unique blend of tranquility and prosperity. It is a place where economic success meets natural beauty, where efficient governments and public safety are norm, and where culture and tradition flourish. We have decided to drive around the country just to see how people live outside of busier Vaduz. To be honest, I started to envy Liechtensteiners, because I am sure that natural landscapes provide an unparalleled quality of life here. Residents have easy access to pristine alpine mountains, beautiful lakes, and picturesque valleys. Heading back towards Vaduz, we saw a newly developing village in a beautiful valley among mighty Alps, and I secretly promised myself that one day I would love to live here. Our time in Liechtenstein was coming to its end, and as we were heading to our last stop, we caught a bit of rain around the charming town of Tresenberg, known for its hiking trails and ski sites. Luckily for us, by the time we came down the hill, the sky cleared out, and this made our last visited landmark even more memorable. Atop of 70-meter hill, in a small town of Balzers, stands Gutenberg Castle. Its origins can be traced to the 12th century. It initially belonged to the Swiss family of Frankenbergs. In 1314, it was passed to the Habsburgs, the dynasty that ruled neighboring Austria and much of Central Europe until the end of World War I. Gutenberg changed its owners a few times, and only in the late 20th century became the property of the state. Nowadays, in the summer, the castle is used for cultural events, such as concerts, plays, and art exhibitions. Unfortunately, it is not open to general public, but it is possible to arrange a private visit. To be completely honest with you, at this point of our trip, we have seen quite a few castles, and the main reason we came here was the views. One of the most captivating aspects of Gutenberg is its panoramic views. Situated on a strategically chosen hill, the castle provides breathtaking vistas of Rhine Valley, the Swiss Alps, and the surrounding countryside. For me personally, Liechtenstein seemed more than a country. It was a way of life that embraces the best of what Europe has to offer. So it took us about 3 hours to cover the entire country of Liechtenstein. We are at the southernmost point right now, at the border with Switzerland. We're heading towards Lake Como today, we're heading towards Italy. But a few words about Liechtenstein. Again, it's one of those countries, it's kind of like a fairy tale. Everything is just so neat. A lot of history here, everything's so preserved. We had a great time, a little bit of rain, but overall great experience. Highly recommend you come here and visit, experience something new.
you.